everybody? This is episode 23 of Two Jersey Kids. I am one of your hosts, Adam Buckingham, alongside the best stick handler in the business, Gary Seisel. How you doing today, Gary?
Doing good. You kind of caught me off guard there. You hit the record button. I was kind of just sitting here, like kind of breathing deep, getting ready to go, and you just jumped into it.
Got to keep you on your toes, man. You got to keep you on your toes or on your skates or on the tiptoes. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying right now, but I'm excited because it's episode 23, and who isn't excited that Two Jersey Kids is back? And if you didn't know, Two Jersey Kids is a video game podcast that we release 2 episodes each week. Our Tuesday episode, actually, we tell you the games releasing that week, but we don't go into them anymore. We just tell you about them. We highlight some of them that we're interested in, and then we get a little personal. We get a little in deep into our hearts and pull at your heartstrings at how human we are, aren't we, Gary?
Yeah, you'll laugh, you'll cry. It's all going to happen.
Shed a tear. And this is the Friday episode where we talk about the news that has been going on throughout the week. And might I say, it's a lengthy document we got going here, Gary. And I know the first one it hits your heart so just right there. I don't even know the words.
Right in the feels, as they say, as the kids say nowadays.
Good one. Right in the feels. We're hip with the kids out there. But before we get into the news, Gary, what have you been doing?
Well, I've been playing a little bit of KOTOR again. It was a surprise, right? It's really stunning. I think I'm going to try to play through 1 and 2 again, just to
of course,
just to do it justice. Well, I started playing 2 the other day, and it's just nothing feels right when I start playing the sequel before the first game.
What number playthrough are you for these 2 games? I feel you're getting close to double digits right now. I feel like you're getting real close.
I think, yeah. Well, the first game, at least 10 playthroughs of that game.
Can you find any new things after playing it that many times?
Not really, but it's still just as fun. I can't even lie. But yeah, KOTOR. Actually, last night I played NHL 17, and we actually won for a change. Went on a 7-game win streak, won the league title.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how we do it in the business. I'm pretty pumped about that. Battlefield 1 also on my list. Just been shooting people, playing the assault class. It's been a good time. I trying to get back into the medic again, but I'm having too much fun right now using Hell Regal, which is OP for anyone that plays that game, which is it's an assault rifle, by the way, if you didn't know. And I also have way too much fun destroying every vehicle because I hate tank drivers in that game, and I also hate every plane. I have no respect for those people. Go to hell.
Why don't you like vehicles? That's the whole point of Battlefield.
Part of the problem I have, okay, it's a balance issue, okay? I feel like I understand the realism. I will say that game is very realistic in the way that a lot of the guns aren't, you can't just fire a gun on a laser in that game. A lot of the submachine guns for the assault class are inaccurate at distance or mid-range. So realism's fine, but tanks are ridiculously powerful in that game. One person with a rocket gun.
Crazy how tanks are strong.
Well, okay, that's fine, but
sarcasm,
this isn't real life
ladies
we're
and
dealing with
gentlemen.
here. Yeah.
I'm great at it.
Yeah, you're fantastic. The AT rocket gun, though, it doesn't do enough damage quickly enough. So you need 4 people firing on the damn thing. Not really 4 people. It's an exaggeration. Maybe 2. 2 people. But 2 people can take the damn thing out quickly. But it's so frustrating because they're so strong. They can move quickly. They can fire at you from multiple angles. It's annoying. So they can go to hell. Yeah, I said it. Get over it.
Damn.
So what have you been up to?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I've been playing more Pokemon Duel Links on the phone. Been enjoying that. I finally lost. I got to a higher league. I don't know what it's called, but I finally lost to not better, but just sometimes
lucky.
This game is very lucky with the rolls and the spin and the wheel, and there's some strategy to it, a lot of luck to it as well. But I've been now with this league, the Pokemon are better, so they're more likely to counter me. So it's been back and forth. But I do enjoy it. I do like playing it, getting the keys, unlocking new little boxes, because every game now has little boxes that you can open that give you new figures. I feel like they give out the rewards enough that you don't feel like you're grinding constantly just to get these new boxes, new figures, to upgrade your deck, so to speak. It's a very simplistic game. I suggest people checking it out. I know it has 3 stars on the App Store for some reason. Just people like to hate. They want like a full-fledged game. I think it's a pretty solid game to check out.
So you're saying that people on the internet are irrational? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, that's 100%. I've also been playing Earthlock Festival of Magic. I am trying to get through it so I can do the review sometime next week. This game is is taking more time than I expected. It's mostly because there is some portions of the game where they don't. I'll probably get into it more in the review, but they don't let you power up enough on your course throughout your missions. You don't constantly creep up in level to face the bosses that you're going into. So at a certain point, I had to stop, go to a different area, and just fight monster after monster after monster after monster to get up to the level to fight this boss. Then it was rather easy to beat the boss, but they don't gradually get you to that point on the way to make it somewhat challenging, somewhat difficult. They make it basically impossible when you're at a lower level. So it's taking longer due to the grind and everything. But I think it's a pretty decent game. I'll say more about it in the review coming. I don't know if I want to put a date on it.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, sometime soon. This is what happens when you have a full-fledged job and you have other things to do during the weekend, unfortunately. But that is what I've been up to. I also been playing Hearthstone. Of course, love Hearthstone. Love it. What else can you really say? I want to eventually stream it because no one will watch me, but, it'll still be fun. But other than that, that's what I've really been up to. I need to get back into Final Fantasy 15. Sorry, Allison. I have not played it since I got the review copy of Earthlock, so sorry. I'll get back to it eventually. Hopefully I can get back to it before Horizon comes out. Speaking of Horizon, I sent you a video. Horizon, yeah. I just want to say Horizon looks fucking amazing. I just want to say that right off the bat. It looks like a dystopian kind of combination. They stated it was like a combination of kind of Uncharted with the climbing and exploration kind of aspect to it, and then open worldness, somewhat like The Witcher, not nearly as large. There's it's an action RPG, but there's more RPG elements with stealth. Kind of remind me a little bit of Shadow of Mordor with the way you creep around and everything, but the game looks awesome. Been hearing great things. I'm psyched. I emailed Guerrilla Games, so maybe they'll get back to us on review copies so we can discuss it. But, let's be honest, I'm going to buy that game. That's one game I'm going to buy.
As will I. I just regret I haven't really done as much research as I should have into this game. I don't know. It's just
messing up, Gary.
Yeah, I'm doing a terrible job.
All right, shall we get into the news?
I think we should.
Hit your heartstrings right here, right now. We're getting into the news. Club Penguin is closing down to make way for a new mobile game. Alison McCulloon over at Gamma Sutra, there it is, writes, after nearly 12 years online, the Club Penguin team has announced that it is ending support for the social MMO Club Penguin to make way for a new mobile spin-off called Club Penguin Island. While the closure of the traditional Club Penguin may mark the end of an era for a generation of kids who grew up in the social space, the shifts towards a mobile game like Island reflects what many developers already know about the attractiveness of the mobile market for games created with kids in mind. Originally launched in 2005 by New Horizon Interactive, Club Penguin was purchased by Disney in 2007 as part of a $700 million deal. At the time, the game boasted over 30 million registered user accounts. In the years since, Club Penguin has seen both missed profit goals and a round of layoffs, but the game still attracts users by the millions. According to data gathered by TechCrunch, Club Penguin saw 5.6 million visitors in December of 2016, down from 7.4 million in July 2016. As of today, Club Penguin will no longer be offering paid memberships, and existing paid members will only be able to play to the end of their membership end date, provided they log into the service sometime between January 31st and March 29th. Those without a paid membership will only have access until March 29th. Gary, or people out there, I put this in here because Gary was an avid Club Penguin fan. Brief history. I started playing it randomly because I was playing Habbo Hotel at the time, which was kind of like this. And then I saw Club Penguin. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Maybe I'll show Gary this. He dove in head first, and I never saw him again.
Okay, well, that's a slight exaggeration. But anyway, this game always has like a close, or a, how do I put it, a piece of my heart. Let's put it that way. I started playing this game, obviously, because you showed it to me, and it's one of those games that just kind of just clicked. Like, I just started playing it. I love the social aspect of it. I met some people in that game. And it was just a great time. I don't know. It's depressing now to think that it's been like 10 or 11 years since I actually played. Like, my Penguin account in that game is 10 years old. How's that possible? I was 12 when I started playing this. That my account is almost as old as I was when I started playing. How nuts.
That's pretty nuts. How many parties did you throw in your igloo?
Oh my God, countless. I actually turned my igloo into a movie theater. Dude, I had people in that igloo.
What the fuck were you watching?
I was just TVs in the wall. There really wasn't anything to watch. It was just like pretty stupid, but it was fun at the same time.
Oh, being a kid. Imagination.
Yep.
Imagination.
But fun fact, I know I wrote this into the document, but what's pretty cool is back in the day there was this like urban legend in the game, this rumor that you could tip the iceberg, which is a social space in the game. The idea was if you got enough people on one side of the iceberg, you could basically tip it over, and I'm not sure exactly what the reward would be, but it was a rumor. And
this reminds me of the rumor in what was a Halo 3 coagulation or blood gulch, or was a Halo 2 blood gulch or something, where you can activate or get to the Guardians or something by shooting this certain area with a bunch of vehicles, and it marks a triangle. Some craziness that was people's
basically
theories.
Yeah,
basically.
Well,
but
in this case, every now and then you would see like a Photoshop picture show up online on one of the forums that I used to be a part of. And he'd be like, oh, I managed to do it. I tipped it over. And, of course, people would buy into it, try to do it all over again, fail. Nothing would happen. But just recently,
all puppets,
they actually programmed the iceberg to actually tip. So apparently you get people on it, it tips over, and there's actually a dance floor, which is exposed.
Exciting.
But just a fun little tidbit. Now, not that I play the game anymore. I'm not really sure. I don't really get along well with 12-year-olds anymore, so...
What? No? Well, at least in Club Penguin, they don't have microphones, so they can't scream in your ears.
Very true. They could spam that chat, though. That was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And again, it is just a little bubble over it, but God, that game was a lot of fun. There were so many things.
Did you have any, what's the female penguin pursuits of you, huh, Gary? Did you have some love life on Club Penguin? Let me hear it.
Love life?
Let me hear the scoop. Let me hear the deets.
No.
Did you give a penguin a pebble? Mate for life? You never heard that? And the penguins give little shiny pebbles they mate for life, All right, moving on. Nintendo Switch has more specs, and the UI has been detailed. Joe Screbble over at IGN writes, Nintendo has released a new rundown of features on the Nintendo Switch hardware, including a closer, parentheses, if limited, look at the home menu UI. The Nintendo UK website now lists a specification section running through the various ports and features of the hardware, although offers little on much debated internal CPU and GPU. Included is a short rundown of the console's home menu, explaining its news, eShops, and album tabs. So it gives you the news. I guess the latest news about games will be delivered to your Nintendo Switch. It's like a screenshot from what they... you can purchase digital versions of the game on Nintendo eShop. Apparently, you can have screenshots in your album. Yeah. Moving on to the actual... more of the article. The image... let me start again. The image of the UI on the Switch in handheld mode... The picture is shown below, but you can't see that because we're audio right now, so sorry. Also seems to indicate easy account switching Joy-Con settings and a tile-based menu similar to that of the PS4. It does look rather like PS4, like the UMB crossbar tile system. Previously unknown or hazy details also confirmed include the fact that the console will take 3 hours for a full charge while in sleep mode. So wait, does that say will take 3 hours for a full charge?
Oh yeah.
To charge it up, or it's only 3 hours of a full charge? I don't know which.
I think it's actually saying it's going to take 3 hours to actually fully charge this damn thing.
If that's the case, that's bullshit. And that support for SDXC memory cards will be added via an internet update. Parentheses, Nintendo has previously confirmed the console would support the cards, which will run up to 2 terabyte in size. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a tech person, but it's fucking amazing that these little tiny cards can hold that much information now. But I digress. There's also official word that the console will run at a maximum resolution of 920 by 1080 at 60 frames per second in TV mode. We're slowly finding out more details about the upcoming consoles, from its touchscreen capabilities to its growing launch lineup. Growing. Quotes, But we'll likely have to wait until the release of March 3rd to give more details. Shocking. You have to wait until the console's coming out. What do you have, Gary?
Well,
Nintendo hate incoming. Sorry, people.
For as critical as I have been against Nintendo Switch, I actually do like the way the menu looks. I like the simplicity of it. I like when things are simple, effective, and I think it's gonna do the job. Hopefully, I mean it's kind of a simple picture. We can't really delve too deeply into what else is in this, but I like it so far from what I'm seeing.
Is everyone hearing this properly? Gary gave a compliment to the Nintendo Switch. Oh, I thought he fucking hated it. I thought he wanted to burn in hell.
The critical points, the criticisms I've had for Nintendo have been valid. It isn't like, I hate Nintendo. They're the devil.
I'm not getting into it. Moving on. Super Mario Run has made Nintendo $53 million. John Fingas over in Gadget Gamer writes, how well has Nintendo's first experiment in mobile gaming fared so far? Quite well, though it's not enough for the company's taste. The gaming giant has revealed that Super Mario Run has pulled in more than 6 billion yen, which is equivalent to $53 million, in revenue since its December launch. That isn't a whole lot for a company used to selling far more expensive games, but it's very healthy for a mobile title that's less than 2 months old. And Nintendo is better than most at turning users into paying customers. Out of 78 million total downloads, more than 5% forked over the money to unlock everything. Game consultant Serkin Toda tells the Wall Street Journal that this is, quote, amazing, end quote, for a game with one $10 in-app purchase. Most rivals can't hit 5% even with a $1 or $2 purchases. Nintendo is still disappointed, though, as it had hoped to get a double-digit conversion rate. And if you consider how some of the dedicated mobile game makers fare, it's easy to see why there would be some disappointment. Clash of Clans developer Supercell, for instance, raked in nearly $1 billion in 2015 through 3 games. While Super Mario Run is just one game, it has the advantage of an extremely recognizable brand name and a higher than usual in-app purchase price. It ideally be a cash cow all by itself, even though it only launched on iOS first. You can see a change of fortunes when Super Mario Run will reach Android in March, and big-name franchises like Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem are also on the way. Smartphone gaming may well become a major source of income for Nintendo. It just may take a while.
Can I just say that $1 billion, nearly $1 billion, Clash of Clans made? That's insane. It's a mobile game.
They're developer. Out of 3 of the games, they made $1 billion.
That's still insane.
For a mobile game, 3 mobile games, that seems pretty nuts.
Yeah. I mean, I heard some mixed things about Super Mario Run. Actually, I'm reading some of the comments down there. There's not many, unfortunately, but some people were saying the game sucked. Kind of hit the pop filter there. Hope it didn't.
Take a drink if you're playing Two Jersey Kids drinking game.
Okay. Anyway, but yeah, apparently Super Mario Run was kind of a mixed review. Apparently, some people were pissed off, obviously, about the fact that it only came out for iOS, which you're cutting your market basically in half, which sucks. Which is probably why they didn't make as much money as they wanted to when you only sell to only a certain type of, phone. Mm-hmm. So, I've never really been into mobile gaming. I don't know about you. It's not gaming to me.
There's always the person that just touted of playing Pokemon Duel Links at the beginning. I can be into a mobile game if it's designed properly for the iPhone and it doesn't feel clunky or too crazy with all the different things on a small screen. When it comes outrageous, that's when I'm not a fan.
I just get turned off real fast by, you're playing and all of a sudden you need to like start purchasing things with actual money. It's like it just gets old. I mean, I guess if you're downloading it for free and it makes sense, they have to make money somehow and people are going to pay it, but I don't know. I've never been a mobile gaming type of guy. I played like some Star Wars games and stuff like that, but not my thing. But
yeah, I'm just curious how well it would have sold if the $10 price point was reduced to say $5. Whether or not they would have got double. I don't know. Would it got more sales because it would have been cheaper? I don't know. Time will tell, I guess. But shall I move on? I shall move on. I'm moving on. Nintendo sells 1.5 million NES classics worldwide. Lucy O'Brien over at IGN writes, Nintendo has sold a lot of NES Classic Edition consoles. The company announced it had sold 1.5 million NES Classics worldwide at its corporate strategy meeting today. The information was translated by Wall Street Journal technology reporter Takeshiya Mochizuki, who said, quote, NES Classic Edition global sell through 1.5 million, increasing production, end quote. The Nintendo Classic Edition was notoriously difficult to get a hold of when it launched in November, with Nintendo America Twitter account tweeting that the company it was quote, working hard to keep up with the consumer demand, end quote. Many retro fans were unsurprisingly frustrated at the time. We reviewed the console. They reviewed it. The 2.5 foot controller cable made little sense. Does that shock you that they sold 1.5 million NES Classics? You think they would have gotten more out there so they could sell more? Seems like they weren't in touch with their fan base. Not to be a Nintendo hater or anything, but for the buzz behind this NES Classic, I would think they'd have better ideas of tapping into their fan base and understanding what the fan base wants, because I know a lot of people were hyped about this, and at the $60 price point, I'm sure a lot of people were definitely into buying this for all the 30 old games, but the fact that they weren't able to get it, that just seems like a screw up by Nintendo. But I don't mean to hate on Nintendo, but it just seems like this was such an obvious thing, the whole stupid artificial shortage bullshit.
Well, especially because it's not even for a new console. It's not. I mean, there's a lot of companies that do this. I mean, they do the same thing, but the only difference is that they're doing it with a new product. This is something that people have seen before. It's just a repackaged emulator, a glorified emulator, I guess, if you want to call it that. That's just playing old games that you've already, you released like 20 years ago. Why do you have to have the shortage then? People want this. I mean, think about all the people that would have bought it if it was readily available for Christmas for their kids. You could just put it in a stocking. It was that small. I don't know. I just don't think it was really that smart of an idea.
And
I would have bought one.
I agree too.
I was going to actually buy one off Amazon the day it came out.
The Nintendo hater was going to buy an NES Classic Edition.
Well, yeah. The reason being, I never got a chance to play really any of these games. Well, most of these games. So I don't know. It just seemed like something cool to have for every now and then. Just kind of sit back and screw around.
Are you still interested in purchasing this console if it's available, or have you sort of soured on it?
It's not that I was soured. I just kind of lost interest. It was like, whatever. I can't buy it.
It was a time and a place thing.
Yeah. I mean, if I were in a store, and I saw it in front of me, maybe I'd buy it. But it's just, I usually do a lot of online shopping now, so I don't know.
So on a non-committal, that's the word.
Yeah, I can take it or leave it. Let's put it that way.
I may not. I don't know. It might be in front of me. Bah, I'm Gary. Moving on.
I hate you.
The Nintendo Switch fans in Japan have pre-ordered more than 80% of the launch shipment. Jeff Grubb over at VentureBeat writes, in about a month, Nintendo will launch a new console, and you may have some trouble finding one in the publisher's home country. Just Japanese Nintendo fans have pre-ordered more than 80% of the initial launch shipment for the upcoming Switch console, according to sales tracker data firm Media Create. This hybrid handheld home system will debut March 3rd. If you all out there didn't know by now that it's going to debut March 3rd for $300, and it has created a lot of buzz among consumers that is translating into pre-orders. This more evidence That's not right. This more evidence that the Switch could easily outpace Nintendo's Wii U console in the $99.6 billion worldwide gaming $99.6 billion worldwide gaming industry. Jesus Christ, Adam, read better. Quote, it seems that the reservation rate of Nintendo Switch has reached over 80% of the planned initial shipment, end quote, Media Create explaining a blog post. Nintendo has not made any statements about how well the Switch is selling, but I've asked for an opportunity on the device pre-orders. I'll update the story with any new, I don't see any updates, so right now, blah, blah, blah. An analyst with research and consulting firm DFC expected the Switch to easily outsell the Wii U. Nintendo's outgoing console only reached about 13.36 million units sold, and the DFC is forecasting 40 million for the Switch by 2020. It's worth noting, however, the PlayStation 4 has already surpassed 50 million consoles sold since 2013, and the 3DS is at 61.57 million units since 2011.
Yeah. I mean, they're saying if Nintendo hopes to match that or the PS4, will need to go to a strong launch, and it looks that's a possibility. I don't know, maybe? I mean, the pre-order numbers are great, but
we'll have a continued success, because I know Wii U sold pretty well originally at launch. People were excited about it, I believe. They were a little confused about it. It sold well initially, and then it sort of fell off a cliff.
But you know what's funny? I don't really remember seeing anything for the Wii U back in the day. Like, maybe I wasn't paying as much attention, but I don't remember really seeing much advertising for it or much hype surrounding that console. Or I guess it's a handheld, really.
Well, maybe because you're a Nintendo hater, you just weren't paying attention.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely the reason. No, but I don't know. I think I almost can guarantee that Nintendo Switch is going to do better than the Wii U.
It's not really competing that much. So that's just like...
Yeah. I think it's
a knocked out opponent already. But I liked your sassy comment in the Google Doc, is that you made sure to quote, and the publisher has a reputation for only shipping a quantity that it knows it can sell, end quote. And then you replied with a sassy comment, oh, good, just like the NES Classic, right? You're so sassy. You're such a Nintendo hater. God,
no, I just see them for who they are.
Tweet him at Scavenger18. Say how such a Nintendo hater he is. Just kidding, Gary. I love you. Remember, you can follow Two Jersey Kids at Two Jersey Kids on Twitter. And you can email us questions at twojerseykids@gmail.com. And we'll be sure to answer them probably on the Tuesday episode. Or this one, if we run out of time. Or we need to fill time. We'll answer your questions here, too. Moving on. New GameStop program leads employees to lie to customers. Jason Schreier over at Kotaku writes, have you gone to GameStop over the past few months and tried to buy a new game? Have they told you that it's not in stock? They may simply be lying to you. Fueled by a new program that discourages GameStop salespeople from selling unopened copies of video games. The program called, quote, Circle of Life, end quote, gives each GameStop store different percentage quotas for 1, pre-orders, 2, reward card subscriptions, 3, used game sales, and 4, game trade-ins. Each of these quotas is based on the store's total transactions. Pre-orders and reward card subscriptions are based on the number of transactions, while used game sales and trade-ins are based on the total dollar value of transactions. If a store's quota for used game sales is 30% and the store sells $1,000 worth of merchandise, GameStop expects at least $300 of that merchandise to be pre-owned. Whew. So, if someone walks into GameStop and picks up, say, a brand new copy of Yakuza 0 without 1, pre-ordering another game, 2, subscribing for a new rewards card, 3, buying a used game, or 4, trading in some games to help pay for it, then the transaction will knock down all 4 percentages. The more new games an employee sells, the more used games they'll have to sell to make up for it. In other words, according to salespeople speaking to Kotaku and elsewhere on the internet, GameStop is incentivizing employees to stop people from buying new games and hardware. GameStop staff say the company has threatened to fire people who don't hit these quotas, which is leading to all sorts of scuzzy, that's a word, scuzzy tactics. Quote, we are telling people we don't have new systems in stock, so we won't take a $300 or $400 hit on our pre-owned numbers, end quote. One GameStop employee told me in an email requesting anonymity
Anonymity.
There it is. Because he was not authorized to speak to the press. Quote, this is company-wide, and in discussions with my peers, it is a common practice. We also tell customers we don't have copies of new games in stock when they are on sale. For example, Watch Dogs 2 is currently $29.99 new and $54.99 pre-owned. We just tell them we don't have a new one in stock and shuffle them out the door, end quote. The Circle of Light program, which began late last year but ramped up in early 2017, according to staff, attaches a specific COL score to each employee and each store. Each of the 4 categories represents 25% of that total COL score. So if a store hits their quotas for pre-orders and reward cards, but not for trade-ins and used games, their COL will be 50%. If an employee hits all 4 of these quotas, he'll get a COL of 100%. GameStop staff have told me that corporate managers are monitoring both stores and individual employees, asking everyone to get a COL score of at least 75% by hitting at least 3 of the 4 quotas. If a store is hitting their COL targets but one salesperson is not, that salesperson may face punishment or even lose their job, according to the company employees. When contacted by Kotaku, GameStop's corporate office sent over the following statement, quote, all of GameStop's internal programs are designed to provide our customers the best value in all their video game purchases, including new and pre-owned merchandise. With any program, opportunities arise for improvement, and we will continue to refine it to equip our knowledgeable store associates to provide a great store experience, end quote. Oh, wow. There's a lot more. It goes into more, but Gary, I just want to get your just right off the top of your head, what are your reactions to all of this?
Well, first of all, I mean, I would say
doesn't surprise you at all.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, they have to make money as a business, but at the same time, I don't really care because I don't really shop there. It's not like I can't tell you the last time I actually walked into a physical store and bought a game. I buy everything online now. It's cheaper. And therefore, I don't really know how much longer GameStop has to be in business anyway. So it's like, I mean, they can keep trying to. First of all, it's going to piss even more people off when they read this article. But I just don't see the incentive anymore of actually going into a physical location. I mean, you can get the rewards program thing, but I never felt like I was getting any rewards for it. Like I would get maybe like a $5 gift card occasionally, but it's just I don't, I think it's going to go the way of Blockbuster. Honestly, it's just going to eventually just become irrelevant and eventually go out of business.
I think now GameStop is getting into different facets of the gaming industry.
That's true.
To reduce their likelihood of going out of business. Right now, they're publishing games. I don't know. They're working with Insomniac to publish a game. I forget what game it was. They're also now selling different retail items, not specifically games, but they're also getting into the comic area. What do you want to say, Gary?
I actually did a little thing about it. In my last semester of college, I actually kind of researched their business a little bit, but apparently they're also selling digital games as well, like digital codes maybe, which is good. But at the same time, I just don't know how long the physical store is going to last. Like, I mean, eventually it might go to an online type of thing. Who knows?
I've never understood the selling digital code things because you can just buy it right from the console store.
Yeah, I feel like it's pointless unless it's cheaper, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't think it is because you can't really get pre-owned.
Unless maybe if you're a member of, like a rewards member, maybe you get something for that.
But yeah, I've never. This doesn't really surprise me. Every time I go into GameStop and sell my games, I feel like I've gotten gypped. Like I feel like I just get railroad right up the ass about.
I never sell games
pricing
anymore.
Of the games that I trade in. I don't know. It doesn't surprise me. It seems like it's a corporate move, but it's a little shady that people have to try to lie to the consumers to, get their quota up. Now, I'm sure there's differing opinions on different store areas. Maybe I've been hearing some stores fight back against the whole COL line to the consumer. Some say that, their manager tells them something along these lines. So it's up in the air. I guess it depends. It's a differing situation for everybody.
I don't know if I could actually work for a place like that, to be honest with you. I mean, I just couldn't lie to people like that.
I've always had that, when being little, I always thought, like, working at GameStop would be kind of cool, and then you realize later down it's like, you don't really play the games constantly, you just kind of stack boxes and just work as a cashier.
that's how it is with my job. It's like, you work in a pro shop, and you think it's going to be awesome, but then you realize you're usually just sitting around for most of the time, doing nothing, which isn't entirely terrible, but Because
You
I
can
get
work
great
on
discounts.
the podcast.
Exactly. Well, yeah, but I'd rather have an actual job. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. The hell with GameStop.
Moving
I think yeah.
on. We're moving on,
Keep moving.
Gary. We're moving. We're moving. Get the fuck off of it. We're moving. Deal with it.
I'm off.
Fuck you. PlayStation Plus has released a blog post detailing the games that are going to be free for all you PS Plus owners for the month of February. Just to give you the lineup. There's a lot actually coming to PS4 due to cross-buy. So for PS4 owners, you can expect Little Big Planet 4, Not a Hero, which is an indie game which actually looks pretty rad. Star Wars, which is for PS3, but also cross-buy with PS4, so you'll be getting that. The only specific PS3 game will be Anna, which I heard horrible things about, I think. Then for the Vita owners, that both of them cross-buy with PS4, is Ninja Senki DX for PlayStation Vita, which is cross-buy, and Torque L. I know I've been looking at the Ninja Senki DX for a while. Looks kind of like an old school kind of platformer, so I'm excited that now I can get it for free. So that's pretty excited.
I'm pumped for Little Big Planet. To be honest with you, I haven't played. I had the original game back in the day, and I loved the hell out of it.
You realize this Little Big Planet 3 was not developed by the developers Media Molecule, who developed the first two, by the way. So
Is that so? Is it the same though?
It's basically the same premise. I know some people. There were a lot of mixed reaction. It felt kind of. I heard it was kind of mediocre. It may change with the updates now that have been going through since the game's been out for a while. So I mean, it's free. Why not check it out? Little Big Planet 1 and 2. I love those games.
I was actually going to mention the story here, but
go for it.
I remember you playing. We were doing like you could basically create your own levels for people that don't know what Little Big Planet is about. But you create your own levels in this game, and you can just anybody can play them around the world at any moment in time. So Adam managed to find himself a racing track, and basically. He was just trying to he ran it through the first time, had like an okay score, okay time, but then he realized he was pretty close to the top. So he kept doing this over and over again. I was over his house. It must have been like 20 times until he finally beat the high score. Well, lo and behold, like a day later, the same guy that he topped came back, passed his score. So then we had to do the whole thing over again 20 more times. We got there though. We got there.
I won't
first place.
Fucking win that race. I don't know if I'm first place anymore. Who knows? It's probably been surpassed.
Dude, I actually, funny enough, I was over my brother-in-law's house, and he still has the original Little Big Planet. So we were playing that one night, and I actually found the levels I created from back in the day. It was like 2009. That's when it was awesome, dude. But there was one I was working on that I never finished. It was we were going like right into Christmas, and I got like a bunch of new games. I got Uncharted 2 at the time, and Modern Warfare 2. And I never got back to doing it, but I was going to create this mission or this level where like you're in a plane, you crash into the ocean, you have to like you have to swim through this level, and it was pretty cool, but I just never got the chance to finish it.
That's the crazy thing about Little Big Planet. You can basically create kind of anything you really wanted to, any platforming level, any situation that you really wanted to, just through imagination and placing.
Well,
it seemed like the creativity though, it was a kind of a not a bitch, but it was definitely a long, drawn-out process.
Yeah, it was like some of the levels that people created in that game, I am simply amazed by. They would recreate levels after like actual games like Halo or whatever else, and they would be amazing looking. And I'm like, Jesus, how much time did this take? It had to take months. It was awesome. I mean, more power to them. I wish I could do it. I don't know if I could really create something that perfect, but these people managed to. But that's all I got to say about that shit.
Yeah, I did enjoy Little Big Planet. The one level I do remember specifically, besides that race level, because I know what you're talking about, was a simplistic level. It was called drag racing. You hop on these cheetahs and you fucking fly. I remember didn't we race like constantly on that just for shits and gigs? Yeah,
didn't we also like collide multiple times and like explode?
Yeah.
There was a lot of shit that happened.
Times.
It was
Fun
pretty
times.
hysterical.
Good times. We probably go into memories, but we have a show to run. Moving on, Wii U production has officially ended for Japan. Brian Ashcraft over Kotaku writes, I'm just going to read the update because it's pretty straightforward. It kind of sums the article up in general. Nintendo of America issued the following statement, quote, Wii U production has ended globally, end quote. they finally put the horse down. It came out the gate with 2 broken legs, and they finally just decided, you know what, it's over for the Wii U. They sort of shat the bed with it, not providing very many games, expecting it to run on just first party and no third party. And when they had third party, it was like 3 years too late. So yeah, Gary, the Two Jersey Kid Nintendo hater, how do you feel about that?
Doesn't affect me. Never cared.
Fuck Nintendo. Moving on. Final Fantasy XII Remastered comes to PS4 on July 11th. Nick Summer over at Engadget writes, Final Fantasy XII, the last of the franchise to grace the PlayStation 2, is getting the remastered treatment on PlayStation 4. Today at a special event in Tokyo celebrating the 30th anniversary, Square Enix announced 2 release dates for the game, July 11th for Europe and North America, and July 13th for Japan and other parts of Asia. Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, comes with updated environments, characters, and cutscenes running at a smooth 1080p, a newly recorded soundtrack in 7.1 surround, and a trial mode where you can battle monsters in up to 100 successive rounds. So I'm not a big Final Fantasy person, so I shot Allison a tweet. Allison Lodato, an avid Two Jersey Kids fan. I like saying that. It's kind of cool. She's a Final Fantasy. She did the Final Fantasy 15 review with me, but it was just me listening and in awe of how well she spoke. So I shot her a tweet asking her what her opinions on it. She was pumped. She was excited. She decided to write me. She said, as far as comparisons for Final Fantasy 15, it differs a lot because compared to other games. Because it's the first game in the entire series where they significantly changed up the battle system. It was still turn-based, but actually utilized strategy. You can move around in real time, and there technically isn't a main character, nor is there any romance between the characters, which I love because it wasn't as JRP cheesy. I see what she did there, as usual. But she said it still is, though. And she said it's her favorite Final Fantasy on PlayStation 2. So for a Final Fantasy fan, that's a big praise. So maybe all you out there will be excited. That's the most I can say about it. Maybe I'll check it out when if there's a lull. I don't know. There's too many games. Gary, does this I'm not gonna say it. This is the one time where, you know, the words were about to come out and then my brain said, nope, that's too far, don't say it. So I stopped.
No? Yeah, that's probably for the best.
Yeah. I may say it on this one though, because it will happen. BioWare's new IP is an action-adventure game, not an RPG. Ben Reeves over at Game Informer writes, during a Q&A portion of the call, EA CEO Andrew Wilson expanded on the fact that BioWare's new IP won't be a traditional RPG. Quote, it's an action-adventure, not RPG, end quote. However, Wilson went on to expand on that detail by saying that fans could still expect, quote, the great RPG character development and story progression that BioWare is known for, end quote. Earlier today, he expanded on, but they basically just thought that it was going to be kind of like BioWare or EA's take into the Destiny division realm. That's basically that's basically what the conclusion came to of this article. I kind of fucked up with reading, sorry. But that's basically the conclusion. What are your thoughts?
Interesting.
Does this get your dick hard, Gary? That's what I wanted to say.
Oh, my God. Well,
you love us.
I'm not sure if I have that type of physical reaction to the news, but if some people I'm sure do, just not me. I don't have that kind of weird problem. But anyway, this game, I'm actually excited to see them do something different. So I don't know what this game is going to be about. Obviously, we have no idea because it's way too early. But the fact that they're actually saying, he said they were comparing it to maybe like a
Division, Destiny style.
That'd be very interesting.
The Game Informer, who are insiders, unlike us, they know more. They had a take on this, and they said, in the Ben Reeves article, this new IP is probably Casey Hudson's old project. Considering the success of Destiny, we wouldn't be surprised if BioWare attempted something along those lines. However, the detail that the game won't be an RPG is interesting. Does EA mean that it won't be a traditional RPG or that it won't be RPG focused? We'd find it strange if BioWare's new game didn't feature any kind of progression system. For further insight into the new project, they had an interview with Aaron Flynn. So they talk about the IP.
I don't know. I don't know enough. Obviously, I can't say anything, but I will say that I'm a little skeptical if they try to go in the Destiny Division route. If they're going to, they have to learn from the many mistakes that both games made. Because I played a little bit of the Division. I played the beta. I was very turned off immediately by it.
What are you talking about? I love the Division. I like it more than Destiny. Fuck you, Gary!
Yeah, well, this is my time. My time.
It's my time, damn it!
The Division, I didn't really like because I wasn't really interested in the setting. I felt like it had been done before. It's the same old post-apocalyptic genre. Woo, yay! We haven't seen that before ever. Destiny, I played it for a long time. I haven't played in a little bit now, probably.
Oh yay! We haven't seen the space battles all over the place with the crazy characters. Yay!
Yeah,
Fuck you, Gary.
Yeah, but anyway, we can put this asshole to the side for a second. The thing is
here on Tuesday, 8 o'clock sharp.
Okay, that's enough out of you. You're derailing this whole thing.
That's Two Jersey Kids for you folks. Follow us on Twitter at Two Jersey Kids. I'm gonna make sure to keep talking so Gary can't get his point across. Fuck you, Gary. Destiny sucks. Division is awesome. Fuck you.
I hate you. Now
what is your point, Gary? I'm sorry.
The Destiny. They need to, if they're going to do this, they're going to have to learn from the mistakes that Destiny and Division made. I know people that play the Division ended up really getting turned off by it because of the fact that they felt like they couldn't progress in the game far enough by themselves. They felt like they always had to group up with people, and that obviously wasn't easy to do if you didn't know people personally or couldn't find people. Destiny was always like they didn't have a story. They kind of outright lied about a lot of things about that game, and it pissed a lot of people off. The game's kind of imbalanced in a lot of ways, so they just have to learn how to actually make the game engaging. They have to provide basically for their fans. I don't know how else to really put it, but you just got to learn from the mistakes. What are you saying?
For me, with the Division, did play most of it by myself. It was rather easy, somewhat, to play by yourself. It was easy to hop into groups and everything. But the main issue I had is that it still felt like you needed other people to play with it in the dark zone and everything.
Well, I heard there was a lot of higher level players that would group up together and just run house on everyone, and it was just that's just stupid. I mean,
I'm sure they sort of fix that somehow. I haven't played it since a while. I know there's been a new patch for help gameplay, and there's actually a new kind of cool that I kind of want to check out. A new survival mode where it's kind of you're dropped into this world and you're already infected. You have nothing, and you're trying to make it to the dark zone so you can shoot off the flare to be extracted.
I'll say this: I think if they're going to go this route with their games and create a Destiny Division type of hybrid thing, they gotta decide what they are from the beginning. They gotta go one way or another. Because with Destiny, I know a big problem for a lot of people was that they were expecting more of a PvE experience, like a story type of experience. You can play solo, you can play with people, but ultimately you're gonna be playing against computer, AI. But what happened was that the story was so utterly disappointing and almost non-existent, and the raid was really not that impressive either. The Vault of Glass is a great raid, don't get me wrong, but it lost its appeal real quick because you can play through it multiple times. But what's up?
I just have one point that I wanted to get across, but I never got a chance to because you rudely interrupted. Not that I do that to you all the time.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead.
My main, my only thing that I would say to any developers trying to make this game, make these type of games, have an end game, have a goal in mind, set at the end of what you want, how you're gonna make players continue playing this game at the end, and not because that's what I felt like in Division. It just felt more empty. The Dark Zone, you could keep playing that, running constantly in the same route, getting better, getting more loot, but that's the same old. I felt the same thing with Destiny. The end game, I didn't feel like there was enough, especially right at the beginning. That's the main pitfall of these games, I feel like, is at the beginning when all these people are coming in, they're hyped about this game, there's a large group of players, a large player base, so you have to give them right off the bat at the end, because you know there are going to be people that are going to make it, you have to give them a reason to stay. You have to give them a reason to be there. I don't know what the answer would be. Maybe plan out having multiple raids, multiple instances where it diverges slightly. There's differences in between ways you can play. I know it sounds like a crazy idea, but you have to make it somewhat feel fresh, somewhat feel new. Maybe you go the route of what Hitman has been doing, where they release these special little targets for a specific season, where you go in once and you have to take out this one person. This is your one chance to get this random collectible that doesn't really affect the game at all, but I think that's how it works. You have to do it a certain way, but have it kind of like a special type of raid where certain areas of one raid is finally open, so you can go that route. I just have a plan for the end game. That's all I'm trying to say.
Two final things on this, but I feel like it's really tough to do an end game in these types of games, because you're always going to have the people that can play the game, and they play it like sections at a time. They have like an actual, not like a life, but they have a job and other things going on, so they play through it, at a reasonable pace. But then you have our people that blow through everything, and then they rip apart the developer for not having enough content in their game. So like it's really a tricky thing, I think, with developing an end game for this. But like I was saying before, but they have to figure out what the hell they want the game to be, because with Destiny, it started out as, it's going to be a PvE type of game where you have like a great story. But like I said, it was so disappointing in that regard that they eventually just kind of like started catering more to the PvP community and the Crucible. And that's what the game turned into. And it's just, you got to decide right away. And I'm, jumping ahead here because we don't know anything about the game, but you just got to decide what the hell the game's going to be and really commit to it. And that's how you can make it good, in the end. That's
why I'm saying I feel like you should design it more, have variety at the end when it comes to the PvE aspect of the game. That's what I feel like keeps people in the game.
Yeah.
Well, that's just me personally throwing in my 2 cents, but that's just my thought.
Either way, I mean, if it's PvP or PvE, they just got to figure out something that keeps people around. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah. Have an end game goal in mind of what you want to accomplish. That's been an issue with some of these MMOs or shared shooters or whatever the F you want to call them, that they don't have a planned end game until later on when they have people criticizing it and they're like, shit, we need to put an end game in, but the player base is already left, or a good chunk, and then
That's Destiny.
What are you going to do? I mean, that happened with The Division, I believe, too. But moving on. Good discussion, Gary. Good discussion. Besides me yelling at you and you yelling at me. Moving on. Star Wars Battlefront 2 will have a proper story mode. Tom Regan over at Engadget writes, when Star Wars Battlefront launched, it was hard not to be disappointed. The promise of a shiny next-gen Star Wars game made by Battlefront developer DICE was a tantalizing proposition. But unfortunately, the reality was a multiplayer-only game that felt frustratingly half-baked. It seems as though EA has learned its lesson, announcing during a recent earnings report that Battlefront 2 will launch this holiday with a full-player campaign. Interestingly, DICE is no longer solely in charge of the series, with Battlefront 2's grander scale seeing Burnout creator Criterion and EA's recently founded Motive Studios assisting on game's development. While Criterion assisted with some of the vehicles in December's Battlefront PSVR mission, EA's early announcement of the three-way development suggests even greater involvement from the studio. As opposed to the original trilogy focused original, Battlefront 2 will take place across multiple eras of Star Wars, with EA promising a wealth of new playable heroes and characters. The report also acknowledged that simplicity was one of the biggest complaints about the original. EA states that for the sequel, players can expect far more depth and progression when it comes to the game's multiplayer modes. With the original Battlefront lacking a campaign and launching with sparse collection of maps, EA is certainly hitting all the right notes with its PR. While the 2015 game undoubtedly looked and sounded like Star Wars, its lack of content rang disappointingly hollow. Rang disappointingly hollow. Let's hope that EA finally delivers fun and fully featured Star Wars title that fans have been clamoring for. But the one crazy thing is that this game felt, from what I was saying, felt so empty, so sparse, but yet it still did pretty well with review scores. That's the thing I don't get. That's the one thing it annoys me to this day.
The only way it does well with review scores is if you only play like an hour, because like the first hour of the game is awesome because it's all new, and then after that first hour,
looks great.
It was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. I jumped on. I'm like, holy shit, this looks amazing. But I already knew what the hell was going to happen because of how few options there were really to play. Like I didn't really care much about the other game modes. I really didn't. I like playing Conquest. I like taking, I think do you take points? I can't even remember, but I like doing that sort of thing. This game just didn't have anything to it. You just kind of jumped in, you played, and then that was it. I had friends that played this game a lot. I don't know why that is. I really don't. But one thing I think is cool. Now, you haven't played Battlefield 1, I don't think, but I have. And one of the coolest things about
Battlefield?
Battlefield 1.
Okay, yeah.
One of the coolest things about that game is the fact that they, for the story, did there's several different characters, obviously still in the same time frame, but there's multiple it's all individual stories that you play. You play three missions and you're done for that person. What would be cool is if they did the same thing in Battlefront 2. They had, specific heroes. Now, granted, it's going to take place over multiple eras of Star Wars, which is fine, but they could do multiple characters, multiple heroes that we're familiar with, and you basically play in their shoes for a few missions, then you go on to the next person. I think that'd be an awesome way of doing it, because I don't think one linear story of just one main character would really make much sense. I think a lot of people want to play as their favorite heroes and favorite characters in the Star Wars series.
Agreed. Bold prediction: the final mission has a character. It's set in the olden days of Star Wars, in the KOTOR era, and at the end, when you beat it on legendary difficulty like old Halo games, there's a secret ending where then it announced KOTOR 3.
I would die. I really would, dude. I would find I'm serious. If it came out for Xbox One, I would buy one tomorrow.
Damn!
I would.
There you go, Microsoft. Get it, make it happen. You'll get a sale.
Yeah, you know the deal.
But moving on to our Golden Cartridge segment, which is a website developed or created by this guy named Ryan Donovan. We don't really know him. We haven't interacted too much with him. But he makes a cool site where he features smaller indie games or crowdfunded projects, and we like to throw a little, little, not shade. What are the
recognition?
Word? Recognition. There it is. Thank you, Gary. That's why you're here. Recognition his way, because he does a great job. It's all his, and all his own, all his writing. So this is Ryan Donovan over at Golden Cartridge for a crowdfundme for Undungeon, the Kickstarter. Undungeon Kickstarter just oozes vibrant and jaw-dropping pixel art that you will be throwing money at the screen. If you are a lover of fast-paced gameplay and pixel art, man, do we have a game for you. I'm already in love right now from that one sentence. That's me. That's fucking me. Hyper Light Drifter, loved it. This game, I'm seeing the pictures right now. I love it. The development team over at Laughing Machine started creating a weekend project over a year ago. As the project got larger and larger, the team realized that there was so much more to this than they originally thought. That is the Undungeon Kickstarter was born. A hobby, something that breathed life into the boring monotony of office life, has now given the team a new direction. Are you willing to jump in with them? Whew. The Undungeon Kickstarter is ready to not only release a gorgeous-looking game, but tell a beautiful story while you adventure through it. For years, we have believed that the world was as we saw it. Billions of stars and planets where most were unreachable. What if this truth held a lie behind it? A moment in history known as the Shift made Earth feel absolutely insecure. Multiple multiverses exist, filled with parallel worlds held together by such a small membrane. Beyond what many could comprehend, Earth knew it was dangerous. Within the blink of an eye, 7 parallel worlds became one. Inhabitants of these very different civilizations suddenly became neighbors against their wills. Holy crap, that was deep, he writes. Even writing it gave me chills, but the fact that the level of immersion is there from the get-go only excites me even further. Players will embark into this world as one of the heralds. 7 heralds appeared in different parts of the world, all containing an artifact known as the core. The core does not let its character die, instead causing him or her to be reborn again and again, changing the surrounding world each time the herald resurrects. The artifact is a clue to the nature of the shift. Each death will be permanent but you just said players will be reborn. I know what I said. Death is permanent in that world. Players will be reborn in a new world that has been procedurally generated. To survive, you will have to depend on fast-paced combat with dodging reflectors, frequent change of positions, etc. Each attack consumes energy points, causing players to be smart about their attacks. So much is going on with this Kickstarter, it's hard to even scrape the true surface of the game. Damn it, I can't read. That is why I implore you to check out the Kickstarter, the Undungeon Kickstarter below. So check it out. I think it's already reached its goal. It's already surpassed it. It's at 127% of its gold. So that's pretty exciting.
The game looks pretty awesome, fantastic. Actually. I like the premise of it. It's pretty sick.
I like the art style. It's got like an undead kind of look to it. I love the pixel art. You know, I am a fan of pixel art. I don't know if you know me, Gary, but I am a fan.
It looks really really polished.
Yeah,
I will say that.
So,
I have to say I'm always excited for this segment every week because it's such a cool. There's a lot of cool games that we always do, and I'm kind of really excited to see these games actually come out so I can play them. We did The Keeper a while back, but that game's still kind of on my mind. Really awesome game. This one actually looks pretty cool too. So hopefully in the near future we can play them. Review copy, maybe.
Maybe Laughing Machines. We gotta tweet at them. Get us a review copy whenever the game eventually comes out, because it seems like it's working in a small studio. Seems like it, with little to no experience, where you're just developing it on the whim, seems they may not have the best timing. I'm just overgeneralizing here. I'm not saying Laughing Machines specifically, but it may seem like sometimes it takes a while for Kickstarters to come out.
Yeah, reasonable.
That has been the news for this week. I'm sorry if I scared you, all you beautiful listeners out there, all you beautiful Jersey kids out there, but this has been Two Jersey Kids. Episode 23. Gary, before we say bye to all these folks, do you have anything to say before we go?
Well, I know we were talking before the recording even began, but our download numbers have been increasing every month, basically since we started out. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for supporting us since the beginning. I think we fell how many short of 1,000? Short. 15 short of 1,000 downloads last month, and we believe with the new episode format we had, our Tuesday episode did about 50 downloads more than our typical Tuesday episode. So obviously, I think we're doing something right there. So I think that this month we're going to get above 1,000 downloads, but I just want to thank everybody for downloading and listening to our sort of professional, awesome podcast.
We know what people want. They want to hear our ridiculousness every episode, not a scripted one. That bullshit never works. We heard you loud and clear. By loud and clear, we didn't hear anybody. We just decided that it felt more like us when we did that. And we enjoyed it more.
Yeah, I like to actually kick back and just kind of shoot the shit with my man Adam here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
But this has been Two Jersey Kids. Remember, we release 2 episodes each week, a Tuesday episode and a Friday episode. This Friday episode is in your ears right now, so thank you all for staying here. If you're a new listener, please subscribe to the podcast and share it with all your friends, because they want to join in on the fun. Yay! But please follow us on Twitter at Two Jersey Kids. Give us a rating on iTunes. It would really help out. Or any podcast app service that you use. Email us, twojerseykids@gmail.com with your questions, comments, concerns, criticisms. Tell Gary how much of a Nintendo hater he is. Who knows what you want to say, but you are welcome to say it. Also, check out twojerseykids.com where we give you the list of all the games releasing this week, along with the summary that is provided by a bunch of different sites. And then we also provide gameplay links to those games. I know what Gary's probably trying to signal that he forgot to do this week, but I didn't want to mention anything.
Yep. Yeah, I forgot to do this game this week in gaming history. Sorry, everybody. I'll do it next week. I promise.
Gary's such a slacker.
Continue.
You know who the true workhorse is behind this podcast.
Oh yeah,
Secret.
of course.
It's me. I lost my fucking train of thought. I was on a roll too. Damn it, Gary. You screw everything up. The fucking ball and chain of this damn podcast. Dragging everything down.
Fuck. Get the hell out of here.
But again, this has been Two Jersey Kids. We love you and appreciate you all so much. We thank you so much for being with us, sticking with us, listening to our ridiculousness. Hopefully we don't annoy you too much. Hopefully we don't yell too much. I can't promise anything because I yell constantly. And I talk loudly because I'm Italian, so I'm sort of deaf because my family's really loud. So I talk loud. Sorry.
It's very true. I can vouch for that.
But Gary, do you have anything to say before you go?
Nah. Later, everybody.
All right, guys. Gary said bye, if you couldn't hear, because I talk over him sometime. You know what? Gary, say bye again.
Peace out. See you later.
All right, guys. Love you all. Keep playing those games. Have a good one. Bye.